whispering shadows. Part 1. The Gathering. It was the beginning of fall when Emily, Jake, Sarah, Marcus, and Lily decided to escape the bustle of their college lives for a long weekend. Emily's uncle had recently passed away and left her a massive Victorian house nestled on a quiet hillside outside of Asheville, North Carolina, with its sprawling grounds, ivy-covered walls, and antique furnishings. It seemed the perfect place for a bit of rest, some drinks, and spooky fun. The first day was calm. They explored the house, marveled at its architecture, and even found old records to play. That night, after a few drinks, Marcus and Jake ventured into the attic, hoping to find something interesting. Buried beneath boxes of dusty books and furniture, they found an ornate wooden box. Inside was a Ouija board, beautifully carved with the strange symbols and letters that had clearly aged over a century. "Dude, this is sick," Marcus said, running his fingers over the board. "We should totally use it tonight," Jake replied. The group gathered in the parlor around midnight. The chandelier above them barely lit the corners of the room. With a candle at each corner of the board, they placed their fingertips on the planchette. "Is there anyone here who wishes to speak with us?" Emily asked, half smiling. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the planchette began to move. At first, they thought it was someone playing a trick, but the look of shock on everyone's face proved otherwise. It spelled H-E-L-L-O. They exchanged nervous glances. "Who are you?" Sarah asked. "I see you," the board answered. "Let's stop," Lily whispered, visibly shaken. They tried to move the planchette to goodbye, but it wouldn't budge. Part 2. The Presence. That night, something changed in the house. The air grew heavier, colder. Emily awoke to creaking footsteps in the hallway. When she opened her door, no one was there. Jake's bed was soaked in sweat, and he bore long red scratches across his back. "Must have been a dream," he muttered. The next morning, clearly disturbed, Marcus saw a shadow pass his window, even though his room was on the second floor. Lily's mirror cracked down the middle on its own, and Sarah's phone played a woman's voice whispering her name, though it was powered off. They decided to try the Ouija board again, desperate for answers. This time, the board spelled B-A-N-S-H-I-E. "Who is Banshee?" Emily asked. "Killed, wronged, locked away." The friends stared at each other in disbelief. "I think we let something in," Lily said. Part 3. Descent. The next 48 hours were a spiral of horror. Doors slammed without wind. Whispering echoed through vents. Lights flickered even when the power was stable. Objects moved when no one was looking. One night, Sarah found a trail of muddy footprints leading from the attic to the basement. They followed the trail and discovered a hidden room, sealed behind a false wall. Inside was an old iron bed frame, a cracked mirror and claw marks on the walls. "She was kept here," Jake said. "This is where she died." They returned to the living room, shaken. Sarah broke down crying. "We have to help her. She's not evil. She's angry. We disturbed her." Part 4. Help arrives. Emily remembered reading about a local medium, Mrs. Eleanor Bryce, who lived on the edge of Asheville. The next morning, they drove to her small home, nestled in the woods. The elderly woman listened quietly as they recounted everything. She was called Agnes Corbin, she said finally, accused of witchcraft in 1864. Her family was prominent, but jealous townspeople had her committed and locked away in her own home. She died in isolation. Mrs. Bryce agreed to help. She provided them with protective charms, sage bundles, and a letter of appeasement. She doesn't want revenge. She wants justice, closure. Part 5. The Ritual. That night, they prepared for the ritual. In the attic, where the connection seemed strongest, they lit the candles in a circle. Mrs. Bryce instructed them via speakerphone. Each friend placed a personal item in the circle. Emily read the letter aloud. Agnes, we are sorry. We acknowledge your suffering. You were wronged, and your pain was buried. We ask for your forgiveness and offer our voices to share your truth. The temperature dropped. The air grew still. A figure appeared at the edge of the candlelight, translucent, dressed in tattered gowns. Her face was hollow, her eyes filled with sorrow. I just wanted someone to hear me, she whispered. The flames flickered. One by one, the candles blew out. Then silence. Part 6. Peace. The next morning was serene. The house, once stifling and dark, now felt lighter. No more footsteps, whispers, or shadows. Mrs. Bryce visited them later that day. She's at peace now, she confirmed. They reported their findings to the local museum, and a memorial plaque was installed at the mansion, telling Sarah's story. The Ouija board was placed in a glass case, sealed and blessed. None of them ever used a board again. But sometimes, when they visited the house, they'd hear the faint rustle of skirts or smell lavender in the air. A sign, perhaps, that Annabelle still watched over them. She was no longer whispering for help. She had been heard.